Pinecone may look just like snow, but he can't hear the ho-ho-ho. And Santa Cat, he still believes we'll vlog every day till Christmas Eve.
Say Merry Christmas! Hey guys, and welcome back to another Vlogmas video. If you're new here, I would love for you to subscribe. I am doing giveaways in each of these Vlogmas videos, so stay tuned to the end of this video for information on today's giveaway. This video is going to be a Q&A, and I asked you guys on Instagram for some questions, and I'm going to answer them in today's video. The first question is, what was your dream job when you were in high school? I have a really specific answer for this. Okay, so my very first real job was at Hollister, which is a clothing store. And after working there for a while, I also started working at Abercrombie & Fitch, which is a sister store. They're owned under the same company. And back when I was working there, you could actually work at both places and they would kind of coordinate your schedules. I don't think that that is common anymore, and I'm not sure that it was super common back then, but in my particular circumstance, that's how I did it. So I worked at both places. I was a huge fan of the clothes. This was back in 2004, 2005. Abercrombie was at its peak in terms of popularity. It was definitely like the coolest brand for my age range back then. I know that since then there have been a lot of problematic things going on within the company, but if you go back to 2004, 2005, that's kind of where my mindset was with this decision. My dream was to work at Abercrombie home office, like the corporate. I wanted to work there so badly, and the college that I ended up going to, my dream school, was a school that they did a lot of their recruiting from, because not only was it close in proximity, they're both in Ohio, but the school I went to was also a very preppy school. It just kind of had the Abercrombie look to it as a generalization. Obviously there's exceptions to every rule, but I just thought, like, I'm gonna go to this school and I'm gonna work at Abercrombie like through college, and then I'm gonna work at home office. That was my dream job. I would not say that I would have been super happy with that job, because I can't imagine having done anything other than what I did, which was start YouTube videos and basically do YouTube full time after school. And I don't have any regrets with that, but that was my dream when I was in high school. The next question is, which home is your most favorite from all the homes you've stayed in? I'm assuming that they mean all the homes that I've lived in. And I would have to say it's a tie between my childhood home, the home in Augusta, Georgia, where I associate my childhood the most. We moved out of that house when I was 10, and I had the best years of my childhood in that home. I miss it a lot. I look it up sometimes. I remember the address. Sometimes I'll look it up on Zillow just to see if there are new updated pictures of it or if it's for sale. I have a reoccurring dream in which I repurchase that home, like as an adult, and I always wake up crying. And I don't know why, because I don't associate anything negative with leaving that house. You know, like my parents didn't get a divorce. We didn't have like a death in the family. I don't have like a trauma that I can look back on and say, well, the reason that I have all these like reoccurring, you know, issues with like wanting that house again was because of this. It's just, I think I just have like really strong nostalgia for that house. And also it would not be practical to like buy that in real life, because first of all, it's a very 1990s home. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like it would have to be completely renovated. And then also it's in Augusta, Georgia, which is not where we live anymore. So yeah, not a realistic dream, but my physical dreams manifest as that. This one says, you and Blair both received an insane amount of hate in the beginning. How did you handle it? And I think that that is because Blair and I were some of, if not the very first people to do brand deals on YouTube in a big way. And I think that because it was brand new, no one really knew what to make of it. And I also think that social media as a whole has changed so much over the last 11, 12 years, but especially with viewers watching YouTube videos. I think a lot of the younger, like preteen to teenagers that are watching now grew up with brand deals being a very normal thing. Whereas when we were doing it, everyone was like, what the heck is this? I think that that was where a large portion of that hate came from. But I also think Blair and I were the first to do a lot of things. And with that came a lot of notoriety and a lot of jealousy. And, you know, we were some of the first YouTubers to write books and have our own product lines and do TV show pilots and do tours of items like our cell phone case line that we did tours with and our book tours and stuff. I think just being the first to do anything is so hard, and this in particular, I mean, the amount of hate we got, guys, is not justifiable. Like, it was so bad. And I think that for a very long time, I had PTSD over it. And I'm not even just saying that. I think that I am finally feeling refreshed. And I'm pretty sure that that just comes from putting my time back into YouTube, including working with brands again, but doing it completely on my terms. It's just so different. And I think you guys feel that. I think you see it. I don't get nearly the hate, if like barely anything, maybe like 1 or 2 comments on a video that's like, I wish you didn't have sponsors. Most people are really appreciative because I show off brands that I love. I give promo codes. Like, it's just so different. It's so different. And I don't think that the hate that we received was justifiable. The people that were doing it, I don't think they realized the amount of unhappiness that they sent Blair in my way. I had finally just had enough, and I walked away from YouTube completely for over a year. And I didn't know, at first it wasn't supposed to be a long break. And then as the months went on, I didn't know if I was gonna come back. It was kind of like, I always thought I would go back, but then the longer I was away from it and the more that I started, you know, having my job be outside of YouTube, I just didn't know if I wanted to go back. And then when I made the decision to come back, it's almost like I got a brand new YouTube life, because I just feel so refreshed coming back, having known like, okay, I walked away. I don't have to come back. I'm stable outside of YouTube in terms of money and stuff, and then wanting to come back. I think that that's a really big thing, and I think it's powerful, and I think it just makes me feel like a whole new person. So I'm hoping that that eventually happens for Blair. You guys ask me a lot about her. A lot of the questions in this Q&A were about Blair. And Blair is doing her thing. She's in school. She's loving it. It's keeping her incredibly busy. And as of right now, she just doesn't have the desire to come back. And maybe it will come back to her the way it did me. And I hope that it does, because I think that if she felt the way about YouTube that I do now, she would be really happy coming back. I just don't know if she will. The next question is, have you ever considered cutting your hair short? No, and I won't. When I was in 1st grade, my mom cut my hair to my chin, and it was the most mortifying and uncomfortable thing of my life. And because of that, I've always associated long hair with confidence and beauty. I hate to say that because I just don't think that it really means that, but I think from a very young age, I associated long hair as something that I was striving for, that I didn't have. And my hair, especially when I was little, really up until I got pregnant with James, my hair grew really slowly. Now it grows like a weed. I don't know why it grows so fast now, but I always wanted extensions. I had permanent extensions for a couple of years. I just always wanted longer hair, and now my hair is nice and long on its own. It does not need to be any longer than it is right now. So if anything, it could use a nice trim because the ends are kind of straggly. So I'm hoping to get my hair trimmed and colored when I go back to my parents' house, because that's where my favorite hair girl is. So we'll see with COVID and everything. I don't know if I'll be able to get an appointment, but I would like to. But no, I have no plans on cutting my hair short, like ever, until maybe like when I'm old, because I feel like all grannies have short hair. Does James understand that Santa is coming and he better behave, or is he a bit too young? He is too young. He is gonna be about 2.5 at Christmas, and we do tell him about Santa and he repeats the word back to us, but I don't think he has any idea. And I also don't think he has any idea about presents yet, because these presents here he has not tried to mess with like at all. So I don't think he associates it yet with like special things being inside of there that he needs to like go through. I do think that after this Christmas, I think he'll understand more the excitement of it and, you know, all of our traditions. I think he's gonna start looking forward to it and like having like little memories of this Christmas. I know not long term, you can't remember your Christmas when you were 2, but like I think he'll think it's really fun this year, but I don't think he'll be really into it until next year. The next question is, how is your sleep? Are your days and nights still flipped? If you're new, I have had chronic insomnia for most of my adult life until I had a baby. And that fixed it. So if you're wondering how my sleep is, I'm on a really healthy sleep schedule right now. I go to sleep around 10 or 11 and I get up between 6:30 and 7, and I don't set an alarm. James wakes up really consistently and he is co-sleeping, so he's right next to me in bed. He wakes me up when he gets up, and that has just worked really well. I've always wanted to be a morning person, but I've never naturally been one. And I wouldn't say I'm naturally one now, but I will say that as long as I get enough sleep, if I'm in bed by like 9:30, which, man, that makes me sound so old, like 9:30, then I can read a lot before bed and then be asleep by like 11, and then I get enough sleep. So that's been working out really well. It does feel crazy to be in bed by 9:30. Alex and I joke about it all the time, but that's the only way to ensure that I get enough sleep, because if I get in bed later, I'm still gonna wanna read for an hour before I go to sleep. That's just me. I've done that my whole life. I read an hour before bed every single night, and I have to allow myself enough time so that I get enough sleep. And yeah, I'm really happy with that right now. Okay, so this is a good one. The next one is, what are your feelings on how younger influencers can't stay away from drama? I don't know if it's like a generational thing or what, but when I started YouTube, I was so careful not to get involved with drama, and that included not being involved with like the click culture of YouTube. I really have only done collabs with like 2 other YouTubers, and I was just always really protective over my own reputation. I think a lot can be said by the people that you hang out with, the company that you keep, and I was just always really careful to have wholesome people that I collabed with. I feel like I was always really protective over it, and so now when I see all of the drama stuff going on in the beauty community, I'm just like, I don't understand. Like, I just want to be by myself with my little family and just like do my own thing and not be involved in any of that. Like, I just can't. I don't even understand. So yeah, it's just a personality thing. Like, I would never want to be involved in that, and I went out of my way insofar as to stay so far out of click culture that I had a couple of bigger YouTubers say, like, I feel like you just never even wanted to be our friend. And that's not even true. It's just, I've just kept to myself, you know? I just wanted to like, just stay out of all the drama and just like enjoy my little bubble. This one is a TMI question. I can't believe someone asked me this. Has trying for a baby made your sex life stressful / not fun? Trying for a baby is very, very stressful. I think that it can if you get too much in your head, if you feel like you're only doing it in order to have a baby and not also because it's fun or it can bring you together as a couple or all of the other reasons that you would want to do that in a marriage. I think that is where couples can struggle, is if you feel like all the enjoyment is taken out of it and you don't want to ever do it other than when you're trying to have a baby, especially when you're not getting pregnant, because it kind of feels like, well, this isn't working. Why isn't it working? And if you're in the mindset of like, well, this is fun anyway, and we're just going to have fun with it, and then if we do happen to have a baby, that would be great. That's the best way to go about it, but it's also really hard when you're going through infertility to be that nonchalant. So kind of having a balance, I think, is the best, and we try so hard to have a balance. So yeah, I would say it does make it stressful, but also I think you just have to have open communication with your partner, and it helps that Alex and I both want a baby equally as much. It isn't one of us kind of pushing the other. I think that's a whole nother level of stress in a relationship. So I think for us, we're doing okay, but yeah, I could see how that would be a really big thing in relationships. The next question is, do you and Alex know your Enneagram types? If so, what are they? I hope I pronounced that right. So yes, I am a 2 wing 3, and Alex is, I'm convinced he's a 4. I think he took the test once and it said he was an 8, which is pretty alarming because 8s are like the argumentative ones, but I think they're also a little bit similar to 4s. So he's that, and I'm a 2 wing 3. The next question is, I'm still co-sleeping with a 2-year-old and I love it. Are you still co-sleeping, and do you feel pressure? And then it cuts off. She might be saying, do you feel pressure to end co-sleeping? And I don't. We are still co-sleeping. It is one of my favorite things. I do not regret it. I think in the past I've said, I go through phases. I've said in the past when I'm a little bit more sleep deprived, like I wish that maybe I hadn't started co-sleeping from the beginning and just crib trained him, but I have talked to some of my girlfriends who crib trained, and some of them regret that and wish they co-slept with their kids because they just miss those baby snuggles. And I also recently met a new friend, and she was telling me how she has 2 little girls and they both still co-sleep with her and her husband. And I mean, they're both really little. They're like 2 and 3 or something. But I was telling Alex that, and he was like, well, isn't that what we'll do if we have a second one? He just assumed we would add an extra baby into the bed and like not try to transition James out, which I started thinking about it, and I cannot imagine James not sleeping with us right now. He is only 2, and you know, things, I feel like we'll just have to like take things as the months go by and see where he's at, you know, at age 3 or 3.5 or 2.5 or whatever. But for now, we don't have any plans on stopping it, and I do not regret it. And I love snuggling with him at night and in the morning, and it's just the best. And the last question for this video, I have so many more questions, but I'm running out of time, so I'll do another one maybe in January. But this one says, what's something you didn't expect to enjoy about motherhood, but you do? Alex and I talk about this all the time, but we're both always surprised with how entertaining we find our child. Like, it used to be that if we were hanging out, we always had like a TV show on in the background, or we'd be listening to music, or we'd be doing other things. And now we just sit on the sofa and we just watch James endlessly. Or we'll be laying in bed in the mornings and we'll just watch James playing. We don't know why he's so fun, but we talk about it all the time. We're like, did you expect to just think that your baby was just like so entertaining and so fun just to watch everything he does? And that has to be like a parent thing. And maybe it's a first child parent thing because they have all of your attention, but just everything that he does, everything that he says, we can't get enough of him. So that surprised me because it's just not something I'd ever thought about, but he literally is like our TV now. We just watch him and watch what he does, and we just love it. This is the giveaway gift for this video. So before I open it, I just want to go over the rules really fast. You do have to be subscribed to this channel with the bell notification turned on. You also have to follow me over on Instagram, which is Miss Elle Fowler. I'll have all of this information below, and then you'll need to leave me a comment below asking me a question for my next Q&A. This is the Skip the Spa Best of Skincare 12-Day Advent Calendar. I picked this up at Target, and it was something that I personally would love to receive. So even though you're gonna be receiving it after 12 days of Advent, I think it will just be really fun for you to open and see all of the goodies inside of here. So that will be the giveaway for this video. You can have 1 YouTube entry and 1 Instagram entry per giveaway, so up to 2 entries. So you can do a comment below for the YouTube one, and for Instagram, I'll have information for this giveaway over there. Thank you so much for watching this video, for sending me questions, for caring, for watching my Vlogmas, all of it. I just really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are having a great December, and I will see you with my next video. Goodbye.